Hello everyone, my name is Lanso90, and welcome to Let's Play Dwarf Fortress. Now, some of you might remember that I tried to do this series before, but it was one of the first things I did when I started doing YouTube videos. And I don't think I was the best at speaking yet, and I'm still not the best. But I think I'm better now with doing Let's Plays, more comfortable with them. It wasn't going as well as I had hoped either, the actual gameplay. So, hopefully this should be a lot better. I've also watched a few more of other people's Let's Plays of this to try to figure out how to play this game better, because it is an extremely hard game. It's very deep and very complex. So what this is actually going to be is less of a Let's Play as much as Let's Practice. So I actually have Invaders turned off right now. So basically we're not going to get attacked by anything. But I'll set up like we're going to get attacked like normal. But I just need to get some practice in first. But anyway, let's get down to business. Let's create a world. World size medium is fine. History, I don't like there to be very much history. The reason for that is the more history you have in the game, the more forests and stuff get cut down and replaced by cities. And that makes it harder to find a good starting spot. Then we're civilizations medium, maximum number of sites. Not sure exactly what maximum number of sites changes. Number of beasts, medium. Natural savagery, medium. Mineral occurrence, frequent. Okay, then. Let's go. Now it's going to generate a map. It's going to do it very quickly because I have a very good computer. This process, making the map, can take a really long time if you play it on like a laptop or something. But well, I'm usually picky with my tastes about where to start, but I don't really care. For this time, I've been too picky about where I start at, so we're just going to accept this map. Start playing Dwarf Fortress. Just a fun fact, I guess. In 3 months, it will be 3 years since the last time this game was updated. It's taken them quite a long time to get the next update done, but I heard it's supposed to have like economics in it. It's going to change everything pretty much, so you will see. Okay, so now we're to the screen. Got 3 windows here. I think you can see my mouse. The one on the right is the world. It's a very condensed map. One of these squares is as big as like looks like an area by 5 by 5 or something. On this, let's call this the full size map. You can actually like save an image file of the world map in this size format, and they're pretty enormous. And then this final one is the very local area where you'll actually be encamping at. Let's see if I can remember how to move it around here. UMKH has crazy controls on this game. You'll see this highlighter is moving around. That's exactly where. Oh, what did I just do? Delete that. Tried to put a note down. Anyway, that is the exact region where we'll start our fortress at. That's the area that we'll have access to. And each one of these little squares on the map here, the yellow blinking X, that changes that to a new zone. You can move it around in each zone. So the map is pretty huge. This game is usually in ASCII characters, the base game is, which is just the letters and symbols and stuff. And I have a image pack on, and those make it so it looks a little bit friendlier to look at, a little bit nicer to look at. But it's a good thing that it's this simple. If I don't think it could be done with more advanced graphics, really. But okay, so let's get to the game here. Let's press F to find desired location. Now over here on the right, we have to, or we can pick things we want it to sort the locations by. Flexstone is something that we absolutely have to have. Aquifers, you'd normally set this to no, but I have them turned off manually with the lazy noob pack. It's the same thing that makes it so the characters are not ASCII in our tile sets instead, so I don't have to bother with it. Rivers, I like to have a river. I don't think you absolutely have to, but it's pretty important. Shallow metals multiple, deep metals multiple. These are also things you don't have to have multiple of, but it's nicer to have multiple of. I used to set clay and soil to search for, but I don't think it's that important. So do search. As long as there's just a little bit of soil or clay, it'll be fine. We just don't want to embark somewhere that has absolutely no soil or clay, because then we won't be able to farm. So now it's going to search for locations that meet the criteria that I just listed. And then when it's done, I will look through the locations and try to find one that's going to be a good spot to start at. You'll see the map's filling with red X's and green X's. The green X's are areas that have what I'm looking for, and the red X's are areas that don't have anything I'm looking for, or don't have all the things I'm looking for. Some of them will have some of the stuff, but it's not all of it. Okay, so now I press escape to browse the results. I do have to go around manually to look at these. So let's see, it started us in the top left-hand corner. So for some reason, the worlds on this game, the limit to the top is the hottest area, or it'll be random which side is the cold side and which side's the hot side. So I don't know why it's like that, because in a real world, the middle would be the hottest and it'd be cold on both ends. So I guess the reason is just to be too big if it was like that. But oh well. But we don't want to start anywhere that's too hot. You can see the temperature up here in these areas we look at. It says it's scorching up here. Don't want more than warm. Warm is about the highest our dwarves can deal with. So what is the other criteria? We want at least warm. And on the other hand, we don't want to be freezing. Is there a cold temperature? Okay, cold. We don't want cold. Or maybe we can deal with cold. I think cold, temperate, and warm are what we can handle. Cold might actually be a little bit too much. I'm not sure. But I really want to find some place that's either warm or temperate. That's the ideal. Then we can look at this middle map here. I like to get these trees that look like this symbol. It might be hard to see since everything's blinking with green X's. But these trees are trees that you're usually familiar with. It's usually like oaks and maples and stuff. And I just like to have trees that I know what they are. But this region is hot. Oh, that area is warm. So it's a good time to look at the other features. Trees heavily forested. Heavily forested, I think, is the highest amount of trees there can be. There might be like one stage more, but I don't think you'd want anything more than heavily forested. Other vegetation thick, I think that's pretty good. I think there might be a very thick vegetation, which might be a little bit better, but thick's fine. Trees we'll need for wood. Vegetation will be plants that we can gather and eat and plant for farms. Surroundings are how dangerous it is. So wilderness has like normal kinds of wildlife, like deer and cougars. Like the worst things you'll find are like the real world's natural predators. So cougars and wolves, things like that. The next worst is called Untamed Wilds. I don't see one nearby. But Untamed Wilds are really freaky. They have like giant animals, and they also have animal men, which are like animal hybrids, which are really weird and not something we really want to fight with my skill level. The final thing here of the top section is a stream. This can also be a brook. Brooks are non-moving water, so it'll just be like a trail on the map of water, basically. And streams are flowing water, so we prefer a stream for defensive reasons and long-term water supply reasons. So let's see. Tropical dry leaves. So one of these two places right here look like pretty good spots, considering those features. Now let's look at these other ones. Clay. I actually haven't seen a YouTuber mess around with clay. I think I know how to do it if I wanted to, but it's basically for like pottery and stuff. We can do that with rock. So that's not super important. Very deep soil's fine. It just means how long we'll dig until we reach rock. This will be a good thing for planting stuff for farms. And then shallow metals. Those are metals close to the surface. Deep metals, metals low down. And fluxstone. And the fluxstone is like the most important thing we can find. Fluxstone's worth a lot. It's really pretty. It can be made into advanced metals. All around, it's very good stuff to have. So, we'll want to locate one of these two areas. Seem pretty good. Next thing we want to check is we press tab. This is what our neighbors are. That's not super important to look at. The only races in this game are dwarves, humans, goblins, and elves. And they're always going to be around, so not too big of a deal. Next tab, we see our civilization. And there's different ones we can pick to be from. Because the story of this game is your caravan sent out from this location to set up a new fortress. And let's see, if we press plus and minus keys, we can switch between them. If we look closely on this world map here, we can see where our civilization's from. And I'm not exactly sure what it changes other than where you hail from, but I've once heard one of the other YouTubers say the closer you are to your civilization, the easier it is for caravans to get to you. Like this one is really close. Boots of Panting. You'll get some really strange names in this game for everything. The Beautiful Slave. These are civilization names, by the way, so that one's pretty close. I think the Boots of Panting are pretty good. Okay, this one, not exactly sure what it is, because this next screen is a little bit better to work with this. Excuse me. But you'll see our local map over here turns into a bunch of numbers. And basically, the lower the number, the flatter it is, and the higher the number, the more steep it is. And I prefer to be in the low numbers because it's just easier to wrap my mind around this complex game when I'm not having to count all the layers I'm working on. So let's see, how do we move this around again? Okay, all the buttons do something pretty much, so I have to be careful with what buttons I press. So this is the lowest area, so this would be ideal. But let's tab back to this to see what this looks like. That seems pretty good. This location is actually pretty great. Yeah, I think that will do. Just hope we spawn on this side and not that little tiny corner over there. Okay, so surprisingly, we found a good spot to camp or set up our base in the first try. Usually I have to reload and stuff like that before I find anything worth my while. Okay, so let's press E to embark. Are you sure you want to embark here? Is your warning? Yes. Okay, so now we're on a screen where we select what kind of doors we want to have come with us. Now there's a bunch of preset ones. All of them basically have the same kind of layout. There's a mason, a woodcutter, 2 miners, a crafter, and then some kind of like farmer or cook or hunter. But I don't like any of these actually. Actually, this one's not too bad, but I prefer to micromanage when we first start here. So now we have a bunch of stuff to look at. I will get over it all in due time. But the first thing we need to do is press tab. And now we're over to the items we're going to take with us. And the reason I want to go here first is the more of these we can take out and save points on, more points we'll have to spend on other stuff, including giving our people skills. So one thing I know I'm going to do, I'm only going to have 1 miner at first. So let's press the minus key to get rid of one of the pickaxes, and only 1 woodcutter to get one more. So we'll get rid of 1 battle axe. And a lot of longtime players or other YouTubers will say you need to have 2 miners. But to be honest, I've been watching a bunch of videos, and I haven't seen a real need to have more than 1 miner. Maybe if you make them do other things, then they can like take turns doing stuff. But I never seen anyone do that either with them. So I think if we just have 1 miner who's dedicated to it, it'll be better for us in the long run. So we're going to go with just having 1 miner to start with. Usually we'll get another one later anyway. Okay. The second axe we didn't need. I don't think anyone ever needs a second axe. Anvil. This is kind of up to you if you want to take it or not. There's no way to craft an anvil, so that kind of makes it scary to want to get rid of it. But they usually get brought along on caravans, and they come every year, or more often than that even. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because it's worth a lot. The alcohol's all fine. We'll change these values on these lump helmet and stuff later. Okay, so now we need to go with these. Oh wait, let's get rid of these buckets, splints, crutches, and the wheelbarrow. The reason I'm getting rid of all that is it's made of wood. We can gather wood really quickly at the very start of the game and just craft that all back. So that's why I do that. So now, this is one of the more advanced things to do, is we have these pigtail, cloth, thread, bags, and ropes. We get rid of it, keep track of how much there was of everything. There's like 5 of everything except for the rope. And now we press N to find a new supply. What we want to look up is cave spider. Now we can go to the ropes and press enter to pick it, and then get 3 of them. New cave spider. thread. Oops, thread. 5 of that. Oops, then type in cave spider. Cave spider. Bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cave spider. Cloth. I think that was everything. And the reason I did that is cave spider stuff is a lot cheaper than the pig fiber stuff was. You'll see that the pig fiber stuff was like 15 to 20 to 30, and these are 10 and under, so it's a lot of savings in the long run. Quivers. I think we can leave those the same. Let's just look for the fun of it to see if there's simpler quivers. No, they're all 10 or 11, but we can pick whichever ones we want. I kind of like to be traditional and just pick cow leather. Okay, so now we're to the food. And the first thing I like to do, and not everyone does this, but I like to do it, is get the last alcohol that you don't have yet. You always have three types of 20 up here, and then there will be a fourth type that doesn't have any. I just go ahead and get the fourth type and raise it to 20. And the reason for that is it sometimes takes a while to get your brewing stuff equipment all running. So we want to have enough drink to get by until we can get that going. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is no, we should actually hold on to those. Maybe not the rock nuts. Okay, so we got these different seeds here, and we got plump helmet spawn, pigtail seeds, cave wheat seeds, sweet pod seeds, rock nuts, dimplecut spawn. These are all of our seeds that we're going to plant into farms and stuff. The most useful one is plump helmets. We're going to want to increase this to like 45. And then I'd say the next most important one is dimple cups. And these two food sources are mushrooms. And the reason plump pellets are so useful is they can eat them raw, and they can also be cooked into drink. Dimple cups can only be made into drink, so they're pretty useful still on their own. And then the other stuff, I think it has to be processed into more advanced food. And we're only going to have one farmer anyway to plant stuff, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Maybe bring it up to 10, just so we have a supply. And I don't even think rock nuts can be planted. I think they're just food. So I'm not really going to worry about them. Oh, I think I'm actually going to get rid of them. Okay. What else do we need? Well, before I go with the other food stuff, let's get some other stuff that we have to have. So let's type in crossbow, because I know I'm going to have a hunter. So we're going to need a copper crossbow to start. And he's also going to need a little bit of ammo. Not a whole lot. Say like 20. Okay, I think that's all the necessary stuff. Now we can mess around with just how much food we're bringing. So, where is our food? Okay, here's our meat. Prepared yak hearts. We have 15 of them. So now the trick you can do with these is just keep track that you had 15 units of it, and it's worth 2 each. And then get rid of them all. Well, we could have kept one of them. Oh well. And then go into the meat, and then look for stuff that's only cost 2. And get 5 separate things, and get 3 units of each of them. And the reason to do this is it's the same amount of meat overall. Oh wait, we already have intestines. The Reason for this is each different type of food, I think, is put in a different kind of barrel. So if you start with it, you get extra barrels just for bringing the same amount of stuff, basically. I usually like to get this prepared stuff just because I feel like it's been processed slightly, so they might like it a little bit more than raw meat. Even though this stuff is all really nasty stuff, like the organs. Pack a heart. Okay, that's 4. See, if I hadn't gotten rid of whatever we had at first, I could have just kept 3 units of whatever that was. I think it was yak stuff, actually, so we'll just get new ones. Okay, so now we have that. Now let's go over to our animals. And one thing we do want to have is a cat, male and female. And the reason for that is they can reproduce if you get male and female ones. And cats will get rid of vermin, which I don't know if vermin have a negative impact, but it seems logical that they would have some sort of negative impact. So I would just always get cats anyway. Also, people will take them as pets, and then they'll be happier. So it's a win-win. And all these animals are tempting, but what I usually go with is 2 doe rabbits and 2 buck rabbits. And the reason to get rabbits is they are very cheap, and so you could get a lot of them if you wanted. Actually, let's actually get 4. I haven't gone with that many before, but we'll do that. They also reproduce fast, so there'll be a good supply of food in the long run. However, we won't get to use them for quite some time. It does take a long time for things to reproduce and get more of them. That's why I think they're the better choice over like cows and stuff. Now, what else could we get here? If we had invaders on, war dogs and hunting dogs would be good ideas. But since they're off, we don't necessarily need them as badly. But I did say we're going to try to play this like we were preparing. So let's just get hunting dogs. Oops. And what we'll do is we'll assign one to the hunter and one to our fisherman. And they'll help them out in their jobs. And at the same time, they'll also reproduce. And once they're reproduced, you can actually train them into war dogs anyway. So that's how we'll handle that situation. I used to try to do sheep, not sheep, chickens and hens, but I never seen them reproduce very quickly, so I'm not going to bother with it. So now we did all of that. We should go back to our dwarves. We're going to go back to the food when we have everything finished. But right now, let's get our dwarves done because they're important. And the first guy, we're going to turn him into a competent miner. Oop, what did I just do? I scrolled off onto someone else. Competent miner, I think that's good enough. Might be a little bit slow, but it's the risk I'm willing to take. The second person, he'll be a mason. Competent mason. And a stone crafter. And I think there's a third thing he needs to do, maybe not. No, I think that's enough to keep him busy. Because he'll be the most overworked guy in the long run. Woodcutter. Gonna be our carpenter. And our woodcrafter. He actually has quite a few skills here. We have a miner, a stone worker, and a woodworker. So now the fourth person. Okay, this is where it starts getting a little bit more down to personal preference. Oh wait, no, it doesn't, because we still need a farmer. And it's counted. It says it's called growing. I'm not really sure why they did that, but we'll just make him a grower and an herbalist. Most people also turn him into the cooking stuff, but I think that farming is a full-time job, so he's going to be our dedicated farmer. Then this person is... See, I still have 3 left. We need a hunter. Ambushing is the hunting skill, pretty much. He also needs to know how to be the butcher. We might have to lower some of these skills because I'm not sure how many he can take on. I'm not sure if he needs animal dissection, but we'll give him novice animal dissection, just so he can if he needs to. And he needs to know how to use a crossbow. And just in case the animals are dangerous, he needs to know how to dodge. Kinda needs to know how to swim, but maybe not. Archer. I don't think he needs archer. I think archer and crossbowmen are 2 different things. But he'll also be our fighter, so we'll give him novice armor use and a little bit more dodging. Okay, so this next person is going to be our manager type person. And the manager, that's not really a full-time job, so I'm going to make him a fisherman. Not very much, because we need all the points we can with this guy. So that's what he'll do on his off time, pretty much. But his main tasks, he needs to be a record keeper, because those don't show up very often. Or almost not at all, even. So, we need to have that up. Etiquette leader. Then appraiser. I think that'll make him the best trader, leader person that we can have. I'm not exactly sure what all these social skills do on their own, but I think that's a good guess, at least. This last person, this is our extra person that we have since we didn't have a second miner. This is where it all pays off. So he's going to know how to brew, he's going to know how to cook, he's also going to know how to butcher stuff, and I'll have those 3 as well. And actually, that's enough for a point here. Wait, does the other person? No, he doesn't need trapper. I guess we don't have to spend all the points on him. But basically, brewing and cooking aren't exactly full-time jobs, but the farming one is. So this kind of balances out the workload, and I think it's just better overall. I think it pays off a lot more than having a second miner does. But speaking of the miner, let's go back to him. And mining is also not a full-time job. So we need him to have some special skills that don't get used too often. They can get used a lot in the long run, but we're going to make him our mechanic and building designer. The skills aren't used too much early game, at least. So having him be able to do that on his off time is going to pay off a lot. Now we have quite a few points left. And let's So we have 15. Well, let's raise our... pump helmets are a little bit more expensive than I thought they were. Let's raise these pump helmets to like 40. Okay, never mind. They're too expensive. Raise them to 35. 15 cave lobster. Let's get 15 cave fish. And basically now we're just going to level up our... or not level up. Give ourselves more food to work with. We're not going to bother making extra food like we did with the first 5 things. We're just going to increase the amounts we have of them. Feel like I'm forgetting something, but there we go. We spent everything. I think we have all the animals we need. Cats and dogs and rabbits. Okay, so now we will embark, but I'm out of time for this episode. So I hope you all enjoyed and have a good day.